All right, today we're diving into something truly ancient and incredibly powerful, the Book of Psalms. You could almost think of it as a 3,000-year-old playlist for the human soul.
But to really get to the heart of the Psalms, we have to start with this huge question. What does the relationship between us, humanity, and our Creator, what does that even look like? Is it simple? Is it just one single feeling?
Well, the answer, at least according to the Psalms, is it looks like everything. It's not just one neat emotion. Nope. It's the whole complex and, let's be honest, often messy spectrum of what it means to be human. We're talking about the highest highs of victory and joy and the absolute lowest lows of sorrow and anxiety.
Okay, so if the Psalms really capture this whole range of feeling, what exactly is this book? Let's break it down. So at its core, what is the Book of Psalms? Well, picture a collection of 150 poems and songs. But these aren't just any old verses. They're this powerful blend of praise, really heartfelt prayer, and even prophecy, all wrapped up in this beautiful, poetic style that just hits you. And this quote right here, it really just sums it all up perfectly. The Psalms aren't some kind of rulebook or a dry history lesson. They're a raw, honest expression of that deep, complicated relationship between people and their Creator. Now, you might think the Book of Psalms is just one long collection of poems, right? But it turns out there's a really deliberate, fascinating structure hidden right there in plain sight.
5. That number, right there. It's the key to understanding the book's entire architecture. And trust me, it's not random. It's a very intentional choice that tells us something really profound about what the Psalms are meant to be.
And here's why that's so cool. The Book of Psalms is actually organized into 5 smaller books. And that 5-part structure, it's believed to be an intentional mirror of the first 5 books of the Bible. The books of Moses, the Torah. It's almost like the heart songbook is echoing the book of the law. Pretty amazing, right?
So, we've covered the what and the how, but what about the who? Who actually wrote these timeless poems and prayers? That's a huge question.
Yeah, when most people think of the Psalms, one name usually pops into their head, King David. And for good reason. He's absolutely the primary author and the main figure everyone associates with this collection. But, and this is where the story gets even more interesting, it wasn't just him. Tradition tells us that the Psalms were actually written by a bunch of different holy people. So it wasn't a solo album. It was more like a divinely inspired collaboration, this chorus of voices all guided by the Holy Spirit.
And that idea, that chorus of voices, leads us perfectly into our next point. Because when you have a bunch of different authors from different walks of life, what do you get? You get this incredible variety of styles and tone. This diverse authorship is exactly why you get this amazing spectrum of expression. You've got Psalms that are just pure, explosive, joyous praise. But then you also have these raw, desperate cries for help, what are called the Psalms of Lament. You find quiet, wise reflections, and then these loud, booming celebrations of victory. It's that huge range that makes the book feel so incredibly human and relatable, even all these years later. Okay, look, this history is fascinating for sure. But let's get to the real heart of it. Why does a 3,000-year-old collection of poems still have such a powerful grip on people today? Let's talk about its incredible, living legacy.
Yeah, the most important thing to get here is that the Psalms are not a museum piece. They're not just some old book collecting dust on a shelf. They are a living, breathing prayer guide for millions and millions of people all over the world, really central to the spiritual lives of both Christians and Jews. And if you want a really powerful, specific example of just how central this text is, well, our source points to the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church. For its followers, the Psalms aren't just for special occasions. They are literally woven into the fabric of daily life, with believers being instructed to pray from the book at specific times all day long. 7. Let that sink in. Not once a week or even once a day, 7 times every single day. Just think about that for a second. That level of dedication is just, wow. It shows how this ancient songbook isn't just something you read. It's a constant companion for your entire life.
And really, all of this leaves us with one big, lingering question, doesn't it? How can this collection of ancient songs about joy and sorrow and everything in between still have so much power? How can words written thousands of years ago still feel like they were written for us today?
I think that's the mystery and the magic of the Psalms. Thanks for joining me.